Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's been on many people's minds. Who would win in a hypothetical war between China and the United States? This is a massive and complex question, so let's break it down piece by piece. We're not here to be alarmist, but to have an informed discussion based on publicly available data. First, let's talk about the United States. The US has been the world's dominant military power for decades. Its annual defense budget is colossal, far exceeding that of any other nation. This funding supports a military with unparalleled global reach. The US Navy boasts a fleet of 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, which are essentially floating military bases. No other country even comes close. These carrier strike groups can project power anywhere in the world, a capability that is central to American military strategy. Then there's the US Air Force, which operates the most advanced and numerous fleet of aircraft on the planet. This includes thousands of fighter jets like the F-35 and F-22, which are generations ahead of many competitors. The US also has a massive fleet of bombers, transport planes, and refueling tankers, allowing it to sustain long-range air campaigns indefinitely. Add to this a vast network of military bases spanning the globe, and you have a force that can respond to threats almost anywhere, anytime. In terms of technology, the US has a significant edge in areas like satellite communications, GPS, and intelligence gathering. Its command and control systems are highly sophisticated, enabling seamless coordination between different branches of the military. The experience of its soldiers, sailors, and airmen is also a crucial factor. The US military has been involved in numerous conflicts over the past few decades, providing its personnel with invaluable real-world combat experience. This battle hardening is something that can't be replicated in training exercises alone. But what about China? The People's Liberation Army, or PLA, has undergone a breathtaking transformation over the past 20 years. China's military modernization is arguably the most rapid and comprehensive in modern history. Its defense budget is the second largest in the world, and has been growing at a steady pace for years. This investment is paying off in tangible ways. Let's look at the PLA Navy. While it doesn't have the global reach of the US Navy, it has become the world's largest navy by number of ships. It's building new destroyers, frigates, and submarines at an astonishing rate. China now has 3 aircraft carriers of its own, with more on the way. While they are not yet on par with their American counterparts in terms of capability, they represent a significant shift in the naval balance of power, especially in China's own backyard. The PLA Air Force is also closing the technology gap. It's now fielding its own 5th-generation stealth fighter, the J-20, and has developed a wide range of advanced drones and long-range missiles. This brings us to a key component of China's strategy, its anti-access area denial, or A2AD, capabilities. China has developed a formidable arsenal of missiles, often dubbed carrier killers, like the DF-21D and DF-26. These are specifically designed to target US aircraft carriers and bases from hundreds, even thousands of miles away. This creates a dangerous bubble around China's coastline, making it incredibly risky for US forces to operate close to the mainland. So, how would a conflict actually play out? Most experts agree that a war would likely be fought in the Western Pacific, probably over an issue like Taiwan. In this scenario, China has a significant home field advantage. It can bring its full military might to bear in a concentrated area, supported by mainland-based air and missile forces. The US, on the other hand, would face the tyranny of distance. It would have to project power across the vast Pacific Ocean, stretching its supply lines and making its forces vulnerable to attack. In the initial phase of a conflict, China would likely try to deliver a swift, decisive blow. It might use a massive barrage of missiles to target US bases in places like Japan and Guam, as well as any aircraft carriers in the region. The goal would be to neutralize America's forward-deployed forces and create a window of opportunity to achieve its primary objective, for instance securing Taiwan, before the US could fully mobilize and bring its overwhelming power to the fight. The US would face some tough choices. Would it risk its multi-billion-dollar aircraft carriers by sending them into the range of China's missiles? How would it sustain its air operations if its regional bases were under constant attack? The US would rely heavily on its submarines and long-range bombers operating from safer distances to strike back at Chinese naval and air assets. This initial clash would likely be incredibly intense and costly for both sides. The world hasn't seen a conflict between two major powers with this level of technology since World War II. We'd see cyber attacks aimed at crippling command and control systems, space warfare targeting satellites for communication and navigation, and devastating naval and air battles. If the United States could weather this initial storm and absorb the first punch, the dynamic of the war would shift. This is where America's deeper strengths would come into play. A prolonged conflict would become a war of attrition, and here the US has some major advantages. Its economy is still larger and more dynamic than China's. Crucially, the US dollar is the world's reserve currency, giving it immense financial power to fund a long war. Furthermore, the US has a powerful network of allies. Nations like Japan, South Korea, Australia, and the Philippines are deeply integrated into the American security architecture. In a major conflict, these allies would likely play a critical role, providing basing, logistical support, and even direct military assistance. China, by contrast, has few formal military allies. It would largely have to fight alone. A long war would also see the US industrial base fully mobilize. While it may take time to ramp up, the capacity of American industry to produce advanced weaponry is immense. We saw this in World War II, and while the nature of industry has changed, the underlying innovative and productive power remains. However, there's another more sobering aspect to consider: the economic consequences. A war between the world's two largest economies would be catastrophic for the entire globe. The supply chains that we all depend on for everything from smartphones to cars would be shattered. Financial markets would collapse. The economic fallout would be devastating, leading to a global depression far worse than anything we've seen in our lifetimes. This economic interdependence acts as a powerful deterrent for both sides. The cost of victory, in economic terms, might be so high as to be indistinguishable from defeat. So, who wins? The most likely answer is that nobody does. A war between the US and China would be an unprecedented catastrophe with no clear winner. In a short, sharp conflict centered in its near seas, China could potentially inflict staggering losses on the US and might achieve a limited local victory. But in a long, drawn-out global conflict, the advantages would likely shift to the United States, with its larger economy, powerful allies, and superior global power projection capabilities. Ultimately, the goal for both nations should be to avoid such a conflict at all costs. The potential for escalation, including to the nuclear level, is terrifyingly real. The focus for policymakers in both Washington and Beijing must be on diplomacy, de-escalation, and finding ways to manage their competition peacefully. The stakes are simply too high for any other outcome. What do you guys think? It's a complex topic with so many variables. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a respectful and informed discussion. Thanks for watching, and if you found this breakdown interesting, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.